Fati there, the Spanish youngster, and one of my own colleagues is a big admirer of Ansu Fati. The boy was born in Spain, but of Guinea-Bissau parentage, and that is Brian Masese. Masese, welcome to our discussion today.
Good morning, Toski.
Yeah, you must have watched Ansu Fati there making history. And just before we go to our discussion, what did you make of his performance and the fact that he's an African now who has been adopted by Spain?
The young man is, at the moment, is being touted as the wonder kid. Is the next big thing, and I think he's going to take after Messi. However, I must say that as Africans, we are proud, yes, but at times, I feel bad because these talents go to Europe and they start playing for European countries. And he's not the first one. You look at, for example, the France national team. Mm-hmm. The first 11, apart from Hugo Lloris, the goalkeeper, the rest are Africans by descent. And there's a story that I was being told, for example, Kylian Mbappe, his father offered him to Cameroon, to the Cameroonian Federation.
Sure.
But now the Cameroonian Federation again started asking for bribes so that he could play for that national team. Now you see, when parents see such like things, they take their kids to Europe. And it's not only Mbappe. Another story is told of Edin Nketiah of Arsenal.
Yes.
The parents offered him to the Ghanaian Federation. Again, the same story of bribing came. And the parents decided that he will play for England. Our very own Michael Okoth decided that his son will not play for Harambee Stars and he will play for Belgium. And he went ahead and scored even in the World Cup. It's a problem, but these young, and again, you cannot fault these young men. Mm-hmm. Because, for example, facilities in Europe are way better, 100 times better than the way they are in Africa. So you cannot fault them. But all in all, we will keep admiring their talent and keep being their fans. Yes.
Actually, players like Paul Pogba, actually his brothers are playing for Guinea.
Yes.
That is Guinea-Conakry.
Yes.
And people like Lukaku now playing for Belgium.
Yes, his and the father played for DR Congo the other day.
Yes.
Here in Kenya when they came to play against Harambee Stars. So I don't know what's wrong with our federations.
I just hope that we learn from the past mistakes because Roger Lukaku was the father of Romelu Lukaku, played and captained actually the Democratic Republic of Congo. Our own Divock Origi, the father was our lead striker, Harambee Stars captain. Now he plays for Belgium, plays for Liverpool. Okay, we wish them well. Of course, there is Adama Traore, who is from originally, I think, from Mali, now playing for Spain.
Now playing for Spain.
The list is endless. But then let's move to our topic of discussion today about the Sports Dispute Tribunal, because its role is one of the most important in the sports fraternity here. And that dispute tribunal will today listen to a case that will determine whether Gor Mahia will keep the 2019-2020 title. The FKF President Nick Mwendwa tweeted to them on April 30, or the decision will be referred to the Kenya Premier League for determination. KPL Limited and relegation threatened Chemelil Sugar went to the Sports Tribunal in May seeking an interpretation as to whether Mwendwa or FKF had the power to end the league and declare a champion and relegate others. A function, they argue, is bestowed on them via an MOU signed in 2015. And on that note, I want to bring in our resident analyst, Milton Nyakundi. Nyakundi, are you there?
Yes, Robin, good morning.
Good morning, Milton. And as you've just heard, the Sports Dispute Tribunal will be sitting today to hear a case where the Kenya Premier League and Chemelil have challenged a decision that was made by Nick Mwendwa, the FKF president, as we know is the outgoing. But then can you bring us up to speed? What exactly is before the Sports Dispute Tribunal today?
Thank you very much, Robin. At the heart of application number 7 of 2020 before the SDT is a question of what authority does the incumbent president or the outgoing president, Nick Mwendwa, have with respect to taking decisions as big or as important as declaring the fate of the season in the absence of the National Executive Committee. So basically, this is about Kenyan Premier League and one of its shareholders, Cheminil FC, who have gone to the tribunal to challenge the legality of Nick Mwendua's decision, which was first announced via a tweet on social media and then followed up by a letter from Barry Otieno declaring that Gor Mahia were champions, declaring that certain teams had been relegated and others promoted across the Kenyan football pyramid. So that is what really is before the tribunal. And the tribunal did give stay orders. Stay here means that the decision by Nick Mwendwa and Barry Otieno was stopped temporarily pending the hearing and determination of SDT number 7 of 2020, which for all intents and purposes, considering the urgency of the matter, should have been heard and determined by now. But then we've had the respondents who are FKF itself, Nick Mwendwa and Barry Otieno, seek adjournment of the hearings twice. And we believe that in today's matter, then they will be able to proceed and for the tribunal to be able to give a determination as soon as possible. Because again, there is the question of the memorandum of understanding between the FKF and the KPL, which was signed on 24th September 2015 and is due to expire on the same date. Which is the next few days. Therefore, it
actually
is
about 17 days from today. That is when that will be expiring. Well, we had hoped to have Robert Asembo, the former deputy president of FKF, and he also served as one of the members of the SDT. And we had hoped that he will give us exactly the behind-the-scenes working of the SDT, its role, and how it is shaping up the sports terrain in Kenya. But due to some technical problems, I think we are not able to pick him. But Masese, I would like to bring you in here. The fact that Nick Mwendwa declared Gor Mahia champions on April 30th, and that has been challenged by KPL. I'm sure that like any other fan of Kenyan football, you must be, worried of what is happening in the local terrain.
Yes. You see, Toskin, these are unprecedented times. There is a pandemic. There are no sports going on. And the federation had to take a decision. However, I feel that they did not consult widely, and they did it, and they did take that decision hurriedly. Mm-hmm. I don't know what law they quoted so that to award Gor Mahia the championship. Yet the other, I think it was yesterday or the other day, Nick again tweeted saying that they will not be presenting a team for the CAF Confederation Cup. I don't know what law he's using. I hope that Milton will be able to tell us whatever law he is quoting to make such like decisions, because he seems to be everywhere. Yes.
Actually, Milton, and that's where I would like to bring you in. The fact that there have been decisions that are just made, they are tweeted, then we read from the social media, then they are followed up by letters purportedly saying that those decisions are final. And now we are faced with a barrage of petitions saying that some of these things are not legal. Do you think that we are about to see the end of some of these decisions? Because now, according to Nick Mwendwa, will not have a representative in the Confederation Cup.
Well, I think the crux of everything that is happening, and we must go back in time for us to see where the original sin or the original transgression was committed. And that goes back to October 5th, 2019, when under the leadership of Nick Mwendwa, the Federation General Assembly at the time, which was properly constituted and convened, approved an electoral board and an electoral code that were in violation of the law. And that has had a trickle-down effect to what we are dealing with today. Unfortunately, instead of biting the bullet, the leadership of Nick Mwendwa has opted to try and intimidate and attempt to circumvent what the law provides for. And that is really where the problem is, because ideally should have, Nick Mwendwa accepted the fate that, they had made mistakes and those mistakes have been costly, then he would have resigned, as opposed to trying to make decisions, trying to go all over the place in the name of being in office by virtue of Article 43(2) of the FKF Constitution, which says that the president shall remain in office until being re-elected or a new one is elected. And this is really what has led us to the ruling that we had last week, Robin, in a subsidiary application that we put before the tribunal, following meetings that were held as a result of a letter by Barry Otieno dated 8th of July 2020, where purportedly they were inviting county officials. And at the heart of that application, that was an application that I did file, and Mr. Nelson Odongo also filed on behalf of aspirants. And we were saying really that the president of the federation, we needed an interpretation of Article 43(2) in terms of what powers the president has in a situation like now, which is a temporary incumbency. Temporary incumbency, as we know it, is the period from the first date of elections until a new, leader is sworn in. And that period, as far as we are concerned, is what we have at the moment. So the tribunal was kind enough, was judicious, and gave a ruling which I think would have a direct, effect on the proceedings that we expect to have today with regards to number 7 of 2020, because the tribunal did pronounce itself. And if you allow me, Robin, maybe to make reference to one of the orders of the tribunal, which is indeed clears everything, is found at page, allow me to quickly refer to that particular order which was given. Now, in terms of the tribunal last week, it says, of course, we had sought orders including stopping the meetings, but then the matter was, while it was declared urgent, it was not, given the interim orders that we had sought at the time. But I want to read order number 4 and 5. Order number 4 of this decision dated 1st of September 2020 says, a declaration be and is hereby issued that the office of the president of FKF is not synonymous with the National Executive Committee, and the same should be constituted in line with the relevant articles of the FKF Constitution and in adherence with the decision of this tribunal dated 17th March 2020 to enable the FKF hold meetings in line with the FKF Constitution. So this order basically says that the FKF president cannot assume powers of the NEC in the absence of the latter. And the latter here is that, the NEC is not in office, and the function of declaring the end and start of a new season, which of course has the effect of, declaring the champions in the circumstances that the country finds itself because of COVID-19, that decision of ending the season and determining when the new season would begin squarely lies with the National Executive Committee. And therefore, in the absence of the NEC and any other body of the federation, the president is incompetent. He lacks the legal authority to be able to make declarations as he did make. And
which is a very worrying thing, Milton, if you ask me, because if an official will just bestow himself powers that do not advance the integrity and the good governance, that brings problems. And Brian Masese, if we have a situation where the federation does not respect its own structures, that leaves everything, in danger of being affected. And the fact that FKF has already signed a deal with one of the betting companies to sponsor the Kenyan Premier League, they have also made decisions like bestowing the title on Gor Mahia. That creates a lot of confusion. And why should that be if there is a constitution, Brian?
You see, hey, we are about to see an endless war in court. You see, I don't know. I don't know what you guys expect, but Nick is a politician. There is no way he was going to resign from being the president of FKF. However, he should be able to follow the law, and I don't understand why he cannot follow the law yet. For example, Milton has pointed out that he's the only, the NEC is supposed to be constituted of 5 members,
yes,
so that it can make its decisions. But he's taking decisions alone, yet at the moment he's an incumbent president. I don't know why he's doing this, yet there is law that is supposed to be followed. That's why I'm telling you, we are going to see endless wars in court, because Kenyans of right mind and frame don't want football to be taken to the dogs. Yes.
Interesting. I'm told that Robert Asembo is on the line now, though belated. They say better late than never. But I think in the next maybe 2 or 3 minutes, we should be able to imbibe some wisdom from you. Robert, karibu sana.
Asante, I'm here asking, I'm present now.
Yes. Yeah, we are here trying to grapple with some of the issues bedeviling the federation, and most of those issues have come before the Sports Dispute Tribunal. And I understand that you are one of the first members to serve in the SDT, but you did not sit through any of those cases involving the FKF because of being a former vice president of FKF. But then the most troubling question is that the SDT has been pronouncing itself on several occasions, but we haven't seen FKF take notice of all those decisions the SDT has arrived at.
Indeed, it has been a very...
Could you please put your phone on a landscape? Just turn it so that we have a good view of you as you make your submission.
Is that better?
Yes, that's better. You can proceed. But then we want to see your head, Robert. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Now,
that's better.
Very well. So,
is it that you've been pronouncing yourselves that SDT and it has no legal effect to anyone?
Not true. That can be very far from the truth, because we've had occasion when many rulings of the SDT have been in favor of the FKF, and FKF has enjoyed those rulings. What is so saddening is that the FKF is trying to choose which decisions of SDT they'll think they'll honor and which ones they'll think they'll ignore, which is very unfortunate, and that's unacceptable, because when you choose to embrace the jurisdiction of anybody, especially a judicial body such as SDT, then it means that all decisions, some in your favor, some in your disfavor, must all bind you, and you must be ready to abide by such decisions.
Interesting, because even the other day, we got the letter from FIFA saying that the decision to call out the FKF, that its term of office had expired on February 10th, and that FIFA were invited to come and form a normalization committee to ensure that elections are conducted in a fair and transparent manner. One Veron Mosengo Omba, the chief member association officer, said, look, all those decisions of the SDT have no legal effect on FIFA.
That was very unfortunate. In fact, FIFA was also flip-flopping on the real mandate of the SDT, on the jurisdiction of the SDT. In fact, many of the previous SDT decisions in favor of FKF were also presumably acceptable to FIFA.
Yes.
So I think when you reach this election fiasco, everybody was trying to get an escape route, yet the problem still stares at everybody. Be it FIFA, be it FKF, the problem still stares. So that was very unfortunate of that FIFA officer, but I think he was playing politics. But at the end of the day, the problem still is staring and glaring in the face of FIFA and FKF and the government of Kenya.
Okay, just quickly, because you came in late and we had almost finished our discussion, I'll give you the benefit to give us your closing comment as we head into those decisions assemble. Can you tell us the place of the SDT and can it solve our problems in 1 minute?
The SDT has a wide mandate. If you look at the provisions of the Sports Act, first of all, it can even employ alternative dispute resolution mechanisms such as arbitration and mediation. So I think the SDT could come in, especially when the other stakeholders are also in support,
yes.
Especially the other three stakeholders such as FIFA and government and the federation itself, if they submit themselves to SDT to lead them in terms of alternative dispute resolution. Because a protracted court battle does not help the sport at all. And this election, being steeped in controversy, will not be beneficial to anybody else, no matter the outcome of the first election.
Okay.
It still presents a big problem way after the election, in which you don't want our sport to be in disarray and in lots of controversy and lots of this push and pull. Because I believe that it's a high time, and from 9 years ago when we had the unified election, that we should be having a smooth run of election and a smooth governance of the sport, where everybody feels their place on board, and we support the game fully for the benefit of the players. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robert Asembo, former FKF Deputy President and also a member. He was a member of the Sports Dispute Tribunal. I would like to pick up your mind, after all this, because I feel that you have a lot to tell us about the functions of the SDT and what it can do for Kenyan sports. I've been talking to Robert Asembo there, Milton Nyakundi, as well as Brian Masesa. Until next week, we'll have another moment. Always keep it KTN News and also Sports Chat. And I can see my colleague Twix Zingado has now joined in.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more I can add as far as sports politics is concerned. But of course, I'd like to thank everyone who has been a part of the show by commenting and